Just a couple quick ones for you here, Andre. First of all, is the time off a challenge because of the way you guys have been going about it, game, day off game, or is it a bit of a blessing, particularly when some bodies might need some time?
Well, you look at it both ways. You know, if you, you just got to look at it. That's how the NBA schedule goes. And then we're like kind of creatures of the unknown, or just adapting, or being able to adjust to any environment or schedule. So you just kind of have to roll with the punches. And then on the flip side, if you do have some extra time, and you do have some things that you can heal with the body, you try to take advantage of that as well.
As it pertains to the thing that this defense takes pride in most, taking care of the paint first. First, how disappointing was the result of what Boston accomplished in Game 3? And then how much did that wake up the idea of what needs to be done?
Yeah, well, they did a really good job of getting to the triggers early and making their adjustment and executing their adjustment well. So, you know, as you've seen before, the series become a matter of adjustments and counters, and then counters to counters. You know, it's kind of a game of chess. So we got to do a better job of imposing our will defensively with our principles and the things we're trying to do.
Ira Winderman.
Andre, first, I'm just curious about an update on the back spasms that had you out at the end of Game 2. Was that a factor last game? Was it a factor in not playing the second half?
Yeah, well, you're just trying to, you know, same thing, you know, trying to roll with the punches and understanding, you know, you got some unknowns, and the body may not react as well as you would like. And one thing you don't want to be is a detriment to the team, and, you know, just sticking through it and, you know, being ready for whatever lies ahead for you.
And then in last game, they try to park to a degree Enes Kanter during his brief stint on you defensively. We saw Kemba on Jay Crowder. You've been through this all the time with all your trips to the finals. How important is it, the adjustments to the adjustments, when you get into a Game 3, Game 4, Game 5 of a playoff series? Yeah,
just doing a better job, you know, myself and, you know, anyone else when they're trying to throw something different look at you, just understanding, getting to those triggers quickly, a little bit faster in terms of what you're trying to do offensively. And, you know, like I said before, you know, making the counters to the counters, and making sure that, you know, we aren't surprised by whatever's happening, and knowing what puts us in a good position offensively, and the triggers and the things we need to do to make sure we're ready for any type of little nuances they throw our way.
Rebecca Harlow.
Yeah, Andre, it's been clear that, you know, in addition to the talent and the versatility, that the true chemistry that is on this team has been a strong point. The further along that you get in this playoff run, how much does that chemistry truly matter, and how are you seeing that pay off now at this point?
Yeah, that's important for all championship teams, you know, to having that chemistry, especially on the court. Probably the only good thing about, you know, being in a bubble is getting a little bit closer ties to the guys. That's all you have to rely on. You know, the brain goes through a lot of different things, and in turn that might help you, you know, when you're out there on the court, you know, in those tough situations, you know, you're spending more and more time with each other on the court, off the court. So you kind of really get a good read on your teammates, whether they having a good game or they having a bad game, knowing how to respond to them, know how to pump them up. All those little things are part of that chemistry that, you know, they don't show up in the stat sheet, don't show up in analytics, but it really helps you interact with one another as the game's going on, even when you're on the bench, you know, talking about the game and how you can help each other.
Tyler and Duncan both have told me how much you've meant to them, how much you've helped them in such a short amount of time. I mean, what has it been like for you to come in at, you know, at this point, be able to make such a fast impact? What, you know, how have you enjoyed that relationship with those young players and specifically?
Yeah, well, I've seen a lot. I had really good vets, so very appreciative of what it's like to have a good veteran teammate, and just trying to do the same thing for my guys. And I don't like when people know about that, so I like when on those. So I try to take no credit at all.
Well, they are giving you credit, both of them, for just kind of how you've been able to help. But what is special for you to be in a position to help to such young, talented players?
Well, there's a human element to it in terms of being a professional athlete that people don't really grasp, and the things that you have to go through and the mind goes through, especially when the game's over. And just having some success, whatever success that I've had, I've been able to realize that, there's it's like real life, and there's some other things that go on outside the game of basketball that, everyone's going to have to adjust to at some point. Father Time's still undefeated. So just trying to get those guys in a good mind space to, first and foremost, just appreciate the time that they have here, try to take the most of it, make the most of it, but at the same time, you build those relationships because we rely on each other, once it's all over.
Ethan Skolnick.
Andre, to kind of follow on that, this is such an unusual circumstance. You've been through so many playoff series and deep runs, but typically a game is over, a loss happens, you go home to your families. It's just a different environment. Here you're in the bubble with these guys. What has it been like? And just simply as a human being, what has it been like being there now for almost 2 months? How mentally taxing has it been?
Yeah. You have good days, you have bad days. Luckily for us, or I shouldn't say for us, but for myself, it's been more good days, which, I really can appreciate. Sometimes I have to remind myself to, stay positive on those bad days. Like today's kind of a really shitty day, but just trying to stay positive through it all. I understand we really are blessed to be in this position. I got to keep reminding myself that. But at the same time, that's what's helping me. My teammates have helped me through, those down days. I haven't had many, honestly. So when those guys are having down days, I'm there for them. So I think that goes to the chemistry thing, just picking each other up. And, I think, this environment we're really built for this environment. It kind of puts us in an advantage and just keep reminding ourselves of that. But that's brought the team even closer together. We were already a tight-knit team. So, keep telling ourselves and always plan to play to the end. So, that's been our focus.
Thanks, Andre.
Tim Reynolds.
Andre, Michelle's been here, I think, just about as long as you guys have. What has it meant that the leadership has been here to see good, bad, ugly, all of it? What has that meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, we knew she was going to be here from the beginning. I've been having a lot of conversations with her early on. Chris Paul has done a hell of a job. He's kind of – the work he does flies under the radar, and the work she's doing kind of flies under the radar in terms of, the sacrifices that are being made, the time. There's a lot of time put in, and she said from the beginning, I got, how could I say I'm all in and really be there to support you guys if I'm not there with you guys? So she's in the trenches with us, and I've been also reading lately, and the leader of the next charge is going to be a woman, and just really fortunate and blessed and happy to see the position she's been in and taking advantage of it, and it's really supporting us and being behind us 100%. And whenever we called upon her, she's exceeded expectations.
Does she help when you have those rare bad days? You said today is one of them. Especially when it got really bleak in here. Does is it calming? What's her leadership style, kind of?
She's no bullshit, So she come from that lawyer background, so she performs well in any environment. It seems like the uglier the environment, the higher she performs, and especially when it gets tense and it gets, pressure time, that's when she shines brightest. And, we've had some tough days even before we got to the bubble, and it really wasn't looking good. And she was a voice of reason. And, there were specific reasons for certain decisions that were happening, and she made it clear and cut on why we should move in certain directions with whatever decision was being made. So there was a lot of pressure taken off of us, and she's just been performing really well for us.
AJ Speaks.
Dre, when it comes to Boston's dribble penetration, what is it you guys had to take away?
Well, I mean, the defense is being proactive. When you're proactive defensively, it takes a lot of those things away. And when you're being reactive, that's when the defense has 2 and 3 options. and when you that's when you're on your heels. When you're on your heels, that's when you're rotating, and eventually you're running out of guys, and they're getting the looks that they want to get. So it's about being proactive, you know, turning your weaknesses into strengths, and then like at the same time, the same way you have a confidence offensively, you got to have the same confidence defensively in your skill set. You may not be one of the highest jumpers, but you can, put yourself in, be a position guy, where you can be in the right position to get the ball, whether you're, least or most athletic. So all those little nuances come into play as well. And, that's one of the things I try to give to not just a younger player, but, guys been in the league for a while. You're one of the top stoppers in the league, or you're a better defender than you believe. And, it's the same type of things. And then we went through some good film, not just after the last game, but the first two games too. So just trying to put that full game together. That's the benefit I feel like our team has, is that we still haven't put a full complete, our 8+ game together, and we're still in a good position.
Gary Washburn.
Andre, your early years in Philly, you talked about the vets. Did you kind of did you ever visualize you would ever be there? Usually when you're 21 and you look at 32, you're like, I'll never get there. That's light years away, and now you're that guy. And players are saying, "Oh, I played with you on NBA 2K," and when you were in the. How do you take all that in when you get older in this league and the culture changes from the younger guys, and you kind of have to accept it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that hard. It's just something that you're supposed to do. I forgot what book it was I was reading, but I think I've seen it multiple times in terms of once you've mastered something, it's your duty to give it back and teach it. So that's kind of my duty. I've seen it at all levels, high levels, and no matter if I'm, the main guy or the franchise player, or, I'm one of the guys coming off the bench, it's being a veteran player, being a role player, it's a different way of being all in. It may not just be production, but it may be in terms of being a leader, being a good veteran, being a good teacher, helping the guys through the tough times, helping them improve, giving them that confidence at the same time, giving them encouragement. So I guess it's just, trying to, you reap what you sow, and you kind of just the energy that you put out there it plays a major part in your progression as a human being as well.
Do you get flashbacks to when guys used to kind of tell you that and you were like, oh man, what you talking about? Or did you always listen to your vets?
Yeah, I had really good vets, so it was like really easy to listen to them, and they did it the right way. And I wasn't one of those guys who was promised to be, make an all-star team or play in the Olympics or win championships. Like I didn't know I was gonna be in the NBA until I got drafted. So I was always appreciative of all the moments and just try to make the most of it.
And our last question from Hugh Hopkins, Sky Sports UK.
Hi, Andre. Thanks for talking to us. Sorry you've been struggling today, man. After playing alongside Goran Dragic this year, I wondered what historical comparisons you see with his game and, opponents or teammates that you've played with or against in the past.
Yeah. Well, he's from a part of the globe where there's a very high IQ of basketball that's been played historically. So he has a very amazing feel for the game. He hits big shots in big moments, plays with some confidence. He's been through the trenches, especially in EuroLeague and Euro basketball with his team, his country winning the championships. Can't pinpoint the year, but very recently. So, he's done it. He's got it in his game. He's been huge for us in the playoffs. I learned a lot about him from similarities between me and him in terms of regular season and he going to the playoffs. So it's been a joy to see. Great teammate, great guy. But he's kind of like just that prototypical high IQ Euro player. That it's just. He's been very key for us, when he hits big shots in key moments. You've seen in the first quarters, we start off a little slow. He'll be that guy that kind of eases back into our groove. And that 10-point lead or a 10-point deficit we may have, he'll cut it to 6 like that. So he's been a pretty huge part of our success, and he's been a stabilizer for us in key moments throughout this run.
Do you see any like Manu Ginobili in his game at all?
Yeah, I never played with Manu. Only was an opponent. But yeah, everyone's thinking, the left hand thing. But I would say the simulators, they, like I said before, those big shots and those big moments, and then that stabilizer. Whenever the Spurs needed a bucket, Manu seemed to hit a huge shot. Got to the line when he needed to. Very crafty with their passes, and then that change of pace is very similar. But like I'm explaining the same person when I say a guy who's Euro player. Who's got a high IQ, who's done it well on an international level in big games internationally, and has been able to translate that here to the NBA game and impose his will upon the game.
All right, Andre, that's it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Andre.